For many, community college is a springboard to opportunity, and as you are about to see, many Montgomery College students are reaping the benefits of a great education close to home. Up next on Campus Conversations, we'll look at student success at Montgomery College. I'm Fritzi Bodenheimer, and this is Campus Conversations. This is the first of two special episodes focusing on student success at Montgomery College. Later, we'll hear some inspiring stories from some of Montgomery College's students and alumni. But first, we'd like to talk about the Achieving Collegiate Excellence and Success Program, or ACES. This is a partnership between MC and Montgomery County Public Schools, and it's designed to create a seamless and supportive pathway for students in Montgomery County from high school to college. With me now to talk about how it works are the program's director, Karen Callender, and Damian Robinson, an ACES coach. Welcome to you both. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Karen, I'm going to start with you. Give our listeners and our viewers a little bit of an overview of what the program is all about.
Well, the ACES program is a pathway program that is designed to assist students to prepare for, access higher education, and complete their baccalaureate degree. The program is a partnership between Montgomery County Public Schools, Montgomery College, and the universities at Shady Grove. So students benefit most when they follow that pathway. We work with students beginning in the 11th grade, the Montgomery College portion of the program. We work with students in the 11th grade. There's an ACES academic coach like Dr. Robinson in every high school that we work with. There are right now 10 select high schools that we work with. And in the high school, they work with students in the 11th grade and the 12th grade, 60 students in the 11th grade and 60 in the 12th grade. And they work helping the students prepare for college, complete college applications, financial aid, scholarships. We provide tutoring, we provide academic preparation, and we just work and the coaches work with students using a case management approach, trying to eliminate any barriers the students may have in gaining access to higher education.
And how do you get into the program? Can anyone join, or are there criteria?
So there are criteria. Students must apply. We just finished our application period for the academic 15-16 academic year. Students must be in the 10th grade when they apply. We have criteria that include students that are underrepresented in higher education, first-generation college students, students that have single-parent households, low income, all the barriers, maybe a ward of the state, students that have barriers in terms of helping them to gain access to higher education. They may not have as much support as other students in terms of gaining access.
So you're in the high schools, and I was thinking back when I was in 10th grade or even 11th grade a little bit. I'm not ashamed to admit, I really wasn't focused on college, especially in 10th grade. That seemed really kind of distant. What kind of reaction do you get when you suggest to students they do yet another program or have to see another teacher or counselor?
Oftentimes, students are very perceptive to the program, depending on your approach. For example, the approach that I use is not one that necessarily focuses on academics, because many of our students may not have a positive relationship with school. So I focus on building some of the social skills, like, how to tie a bow tie, or how to, when you go to a formal event, which glass do I use, or how to speak to your friends when you're having a conflict. Also have food. And trust me, food will bring all of the students to your office. And so oftentimes it's about finding an entry point and then being able to weave some of the academic conversations about college and about school once you have them in your grasp.
Interesting. And what success have you had? The program's relatively new, but maybe you've had a little bit of time to sort of look back and measure a little bit.
So we have had a great deal of success as far as we're concerned. Our students, this is the second year of the program. We've had our first entering class into Montgomery College, of which we had 562 students that graduated from high school last year, of which 300 about 335 have come to Montgomery College. The other students have gone on to different schools, and the students are doing really well. We gave away over $125,000 of scholarships at Montgomery College,
Wow.
which is amazing. We also had many students that received full ride scholarships to not only Montgomery College and the universities at Shady Grove, but other institutions as well.
And you know some of these students firsthand. Tell me about some of your experiences. Tell me about a student who maybe wasn't that into school and now is really thriving.
I have a young man who, initially when I met him, I could tell there was something special about him, but he just needed some guidance. Very good kid, oftentimes one of the kids who may slip through the cracks, if you will. He's not a problem child, but he doesn't speak up, and so everyone sort of makes these assumptions that, well, this kid is okay. And so what happened was I took this young man under my wing, much like a big brother, and I started to talk to him about some of the things that he was interested in. And little by little, he started coming out of his shell. We started finding out, wow, he's really interested in automotive, but then he's interested in going to school, going to law school. Maybe he wants to major in criminal justice. And so now this student is at Montgomery College. Initially, he was going to go to a 4-year school. But upon consulting with myself and one of the other ACES coaches, Andres Maldonado, he decided that coming to MC and then following the pathway to USG through the ACES program will work best for him. And now he's thriving in the program. I'm so proud of him. And this program was created for students like him who need a little bit of guidance, need a little bit of hope, someone to protect their hope and inspire them and help them get to a place where they can actually use their autonomy for something that they want. So this young man is amazing, he's outstanding, and we have many students like him. And oftentimes you will find that young people just want to feel cared about. Mm-hmm. That's the key.
Yeah. That he was so quiet that it would be easy to fall through the cracks, but you sort of lifted him up.
Right, and I think what happens is that we have to understand is that our responsibility and our job is not to save people, right? Because when you try to save people, you end up drowning yourself. Our young people have within themselves to save themselves, right? I look at students who come from the most toxic situations, yet they're still standing, which tells me that they're resilient. They have the skills to be successful. They have the skills to survive. And so my responsibility is then to take those skills and show them how they can use that to build towards something that's going to ultimately change their lives.
And speaking of resilient, I had the chance to meet one of your great students, and she's quite resilient, and here's her story.
I was born in Cameroon. We moved here because my father, he was born with a deformed heart and he needed to get surgery on it. Moving here was very difficult, I would say. You know, I'm coming to a new land, a foreign land. People don't look like me. They don't dress like me. They don't talk like me. So it was very hard for me in the beginning, in the beginning of my years here. My mother is a nurse at Shady Grove Hospital. My father, he's an accountant. And well, he's still, like I said, with surgery, he kind of is a patient still, so he can't work that hard. But we're definitely getting by as a family.
Good afternoon, Klinger Insurance Group. How may I help you?
I work from 9:30 to 4, and my classes usually start at 7 p.m. So in between that time, I can read, I can do whatever I need to, maybe sleep. And after that, I don't work on Fridays, so that's always a good help for me to balance school and work. I always knew I was going to come to Montgomery College because I guess of my financial situation. College is very intimidating when you don't have guidance. Without ACES, I feel like I'll be lost. It definitely made my transition seamless. Miss Callender, she is amazing. I love her. I could honestly say if it wasn't for ACES and her, I probably will be more stressed than I am right now. You know, I was able to get some scholarships through ACES. without ACEs, I'll be less determined. They help you succeed. Success to me is not measured by how much money I make in the future or how many material things I have in the future, but to me it's about how many lives I impact in the future, and that's what ACEs has taught me. They didn't only stay with me in high school, you know, they helped me apply and helped me get into college, but just because you get into college doesn't mean you're gonna succeed. So I also had that support here in college. You know, I had Dr. Rob in high school, and now we have an ACEs coach in the Germantown campus, Miss Brenda Lance, and she's great too. And they're always there to make sure, like, say you're doing bad or you have like a D or E in a class now, you'll definitely have Dr. Robinson or Miss Lance calling you and saying, why do you have this grade in this class? You know, they make sure that you're on your game. They make sure, they all want you to succeed, every one of them.
Audrey is clearly getting the support she needs to succeed at Montgomery College and beyond. For some students, college is just one aspect of a busy life. Many balance classes with work and family responsibilities. Earlier this spring, I met Lakia McCoy, a single mom who's hoping to be the first in her family to graduate from college. And with the help of a program called Sister to Sister, she's getting closer to that goal every day.
Being a young mom, I really want to show that nothing is impossible. If you want to do something, you know, go for it, you know. Don't let nobody stop you. I grew up in Montgomery County. I graduated from Kennedy High School. I also went to Thomas Edison High School of Technology for the cosmetology program. If it weren't for Montgomery College, I think it would have been really hard for me to get in school, especially big universities and things like that. For me, as a mother with the low income, it's easier to get into a community college, especially with the grants and things like that. I have a mentor here. Her name is Miss Gail Wright.
Gail pointed Lakia to Sister, a program that brings together female African-American students in their first semester at MC and provides much-needed mentoring.
Sister to Sister is just like a support group if we need help with, you know, our academics, and also we go out to the community and help out the community. One community thing we did, we went to the homeless shelter and helped feed the homeless shelter and clean the kitchen, and that was a really good experience for me. It was my first time, so I really like it. It's something that I think everyone should have just for support, especially first time here at MC.
Helping others is right up Lakia's alley. She dreams of becoming a physical and occupational therapist with a very special skill.
When I finish Montgomery College, I'm going to receive my American Sign Language certificate. My parents are hearing impaired, so hopefully I can use that as, you know, a backup, being an interpreter later in the future. And also with physical therapy and occupational therapy, especially with deaf patients, you know, you don't have to go out and go find an interpreter. You know, it would just be easier if the person knew sign language, so I think I would be interested in that. My mom went to college, but she didn't really finish, so hopefully I'll be the first to finish college.
Lakia is a strong young lady. She has 3 younger sisters who she helped care for as she went to high school. Now, as a mother, she hopes to set an example for her sisters, her son, and the child she's expecting this summer. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk to some outstanding MC alumni who are excelling beyond Montgomery College. Welcome back. Insights Magazine, a quarterly chronicle about and for Montgomery College alumni, is a great way to see what some of our most notable alumni are up to. And that brings me to our next story. In the summer of 2013, the Maryland Terrapins and their sponsor, Under Armour, created a lot of buzz with a new football helmet design. They were hand-painted one at a time. In the latest episode of Insights, staff writer and University of Maryland alumna Jill Fitzgerald revealed that the artist behind this project is a former Montgomery College student, Peter Frechette. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. So, first of all, we're surrounded by these beautiful helmets, and when you first see them, you might think that they were painted in the traditional way, but that's not actually true.
No.
How do you make these beautiful helmets?
Well, most of them are airbrushed, and sometimes I use a paintbrush, but overall it's all stencils and they're all airbrushed by hand. So it's time consuming, but some things are done all freehand too. Like this is all the hair on here is done freehand.
So when you made those football helmets for the University of Maryland, that's a lot of helmets, and
Yeah.
you did them one at a time.
Yeah.
What was that like? How long did it take you?
It was very uncomfortable because I've never done it before. So I was really nervous, but I got through it. It took me a week to get used to it, adjust to it. So I was duplicating one design, but each design was different. So I had a little problems with stencils, and my other artists had problems, but we got through it after a week. We got it done. It was very uncomfortable.
So if that was your really first big airbrushing project, how did you get into airbrushing, and had you done some more traditional art in the past?
Yeah, I have. Well, I started just doing t-shirt stuff because it's more forgiving. It's a more relaxed airbrush style. And I stopped doing it because t-shirts get washed and get ruined in the wash. So I wanted something to last. I went into the automotive, cars and bikes and helmets. And I just started, I fell into it and I stuck with it. I love it.
What's your process like? How do you find the design? What kind of tools do you need? Where do you work?
Oh, a lot of customers give me images from the internet, or they give me like book covers, or they come up. Sometimes I do freelance where I just they say come up with something. Some people say just do whatever you think is cool with this genre, like tigers, or do a skull design, and that's it. And then I go for it.
Wow.
It's fun. It's fun.
When you were at Montgomery College, did you take some art classes?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I took illustration, and I took all the design classes and new drawing. It was all fun. It was great. I learned a lot of techniques there, but I couldn't get an airbrush class. It was always full, so I had to learn that on my own. So I just bought the books and learned it. I don't suggest doing that, but it took me longer to learn. If I had a teacher, it would have been better.
So you've made a lot of helmets, which are getting kind of famous now, but you can also use airbrushing for other things, for paintings, and tell us about some of the other projects that you work on.
Right now I'm doing some gallery work. I'm doing a rock and roll kind of genre, so I'm doing some big paintings. You start big, but yeah, I'm doing like a whole series for the canvas industry and a gallery actually, and that's my next genre. Is focusing on that, but I think I always do the helmets. I love doing that. It's kind of fun. I'm used to it now.
I heard you say, or maybe read that you said somewhere, that for an artist it's sort of counterintuitive to be an airbrush artist compared to what you might traditionally do.
Well, pen
How
and ink
so?
or paintbrush. Well, you're not touching the canvas. So almost every artist is used to touching and controlling. Now you have no control. You're in the air brush. So a lot of artists I train, I try to help them. They don't like it. They're great artists on paper and canvas, but they transfer the airbrush, they don't get a feel for it. You have to have a certain feel for it. And it's uncomfortable in the beginning, but you get through it. It's great. I love the tool. It's advanced and high detail in a short amount of time, and I love it.
What made you first seek out airbrushing?
I just saw it one time, and when I was young, I said, wow, that looks incredible. It's just so surreal, kind of dreamlike images. And I just fell into it. I said, I want to do that. So I really wanted to do it real bad. So I really pushed myself. And I love it now. I really love doing it. I paint almost every day.
Wow. So I know that all of my friends who are big football fans would not be happy with me if I didn't ask you about some of your favorite helmets. I mean, the Maryland ones are amazing. They have so much detail, and there were so many, but tell us about some of the others.
I have some other projects I'm working on. I can't probably talk about them, but they like to unveil, Under Armour unveils their projects. So yeah, I have some projects I'm working on now that are pretty big. I can't really talk about them now, but I really enjoyed the Maryland one. Actually, Maryland has a new design coming out. It's coming out in August. It's really cool. It's more of a subdued look to this, but it's still airbrush. You'll see it. It'll be out there. It's kind of, they keep it private, you know.
Sure.
Maybe sign waivers and stuff. So it's kind of different. I'm not used to being a corporate artist, but I'm kind of corporate now. But I still have my fine art roots. So.
And the very first thing that you did, is it true that it really wasn't football, that it was a kind of a hockey helmet?
Yeah. Yep. I did a hockey helmet for one of the design directors at Under Armour, and he had it on his shelf for 8 years. And he saw it one day. He goes, "Hey, you know, let's try to do these on football helmets." He called me up. It took a year to get the ball rolling with Rydell, because Rydell is a big factor. They're the middleman. And it went through, and now here I am just doing, you know, this is Texas Tech and Maryland, and we got some other projects coming up. So.
And is there anything that might surprise people who've never seen this process at work? What's it like? Is it something that I might not know? Just, it looks beautiful and polished now,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there's a lot of detail.
Yeah, well, it's dull before you put the clear coat, the shine coat, but it's kind of dull and not as vibrant, and then once you put that coat on there, it jumps out at you. And I have to use the Rydell Clear Standard, so it's like high-end clear coats. Only one place makes it. It's $530 a gallon.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. So the clear coat's really specialized for high-impact sports. So it's used in NFL. So that's kind of a strange thing for me.
Indeed.
I'm not used to that, so yeah.
Peter, thank you so much for sharing your
You're
beautiful artwork and your story with us. And up next, we're going to catch up with a former student member of the Montgomery College Board of Trustees, Jonathan Jays Green, who is making his mark in Maryland.
Gracias. One of the major things that I've been able to do in the governor's office is to make sure that I'm talking to high school students from across the state, college students from across the state about what it is to be undocumented, what it is to succeed in college and being an undocumented student. Oftentimes we feel so alone, either whether it's being undocumented, being from a low-income family, being from an immigrant family. Like, there's so many things at stake here, and I take it as one of my jobs to be able to make sure that folks understand that it is possible, that it's difficult, but it's possible. My family and I moved from Panama when I was 13. We moved to the United States, to Silver Spring actually, because my family wanted a better life for me and for our family. Though it was a difficult transition, the main thing that I kept in mind at that time is that I had to go to school and do well. So I enrolled in honors and AP classes in high school right out of ESOL classes. I had all these aspirations of going to college, and I had all these schools that I really wanted to go to. But during that time, I learned that because of my status, my undocumented status, my road to college was going to be more difficult than I anticipated. So even though all the schools accepted me, Montgomery College was the only place that was actually attainable for me, because I gained admission to the Scholars Honors Program at Montgomery College. I think one of the most important things that Montgomery College did for me, it was that it empowered me. I felt like I could actually make a difference.
Mr. Jonathan Jays Green, student trustee.
In my second year at the college, the governor appointed me to the board of trustees of the college, and I was a student member of the board. And I did that because I had to give back, because I had to give back in whichever way that I could to this institution that had been so crucial in making sure that people like me had a chance. And one of the most special moments of being a trustee for me was being able to pass a resolution as a board supporting the DREAM Act. In many ways, I owe almost everything of who I am to my parents. I mean, they made a huge sacrifice to leave what they knew, and they had succeeded in Panama. They left all that behind. My mom went from being an accountant in Panama to coming to this country and taking care of the elderly, taking care of the young babies, and cleaning houses, so that I could have that opportunity to study and go to school, right? So to me, that's what I kept in mind all throughout this process, that though it was difficult to be able to get to college, to be able to pay for it because of my status, I owe something to my parents. I needed to pay back that sacrifice with me graduating from college. And Montgomery College is such an important part of that process, because had it not been for the college, I am not sure I would have been able to graduate or even attend at all. Because at that point, before the DREAM Act had passed, Public colleges were charging me out-of-state tuition. I was lucky enough to have been able to find Goucher College, a private school here in Baltimore, that was able to again look past my undocumented status and say, we recognize the potential in you, and we want to make sure that you can get to reach your goals. Yes, I've worked very hard, advocating with my community, for my community, but there's so much work that needs to be done. There are so many students who don't have the opportunities that I'm having right now, and we need to make sure that we're continuing to work towards that.
No matter where you're headed, no matter what your age, you'll find it all here at Montgomery College. Small class sizes, flexible scheduling, over 130 programs of study, award-winning faculty, nationally ranked NJCAA athletics. The possibilities are endless at Montgomery College. Register today.
So Marcus, I loved hearing that story about Jonathan Jays Green. He is an amazing young man, and his story is very much like many we hear at the college. He came here from another country, didn't know the language, the culture, and now what an amazing success story.
I think I talk about Jonathan Jays Green probably too often, but he's a great person, and he's a fantastic ambassador for what Montgomery College means, and just a sort of a guideline to students looking up and saying, hey, look what he did and look what I can do. But the success doesn't stop at Jonathan, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. We've had some folks walk through these doors that are pretty famous. Tori Amos is a Montgomery College grad. Jerome Williams, who starred in basketball at Georgetown and then went on to have a career in the WNBA, or in the NBA, I should say, with the Toronto Raptors mainly. Mark Roberge, the lead singer of the worldwide known band OAR, actually did summer dinner theater here at Montgomery College. Rick Leventhal, Fox News correspondent. So there's a lot of big names out there that many folks won't really know that they came to Montgomery College. But I think it all starts in the front of the classroom. We have over 1,500 faculty members here at Montgomery College, and the precedent that they set for these students is where it starts. And the passion, the drive that they bring to the classroom is really what we hang our hat on, and what higher education institutions, it's basically the lifeblood of a higher education institution, and that's the faculty. And I'm talking to somebody who is a former faculty member, so you have to sort of have a good feeling about this entire show.
I have a great feeling about it, but unfortunately, I know as a former teacher, we have to wrap it up when the bell rings. We're out of time, but for more information about any of the topics we cover on Campus Conversations, visit montgomerycollege.edu/campusconversations.